On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I gotta be honest, right before I started recording, the craziest post just happened. I'm not gonna bury it too far, but this war between Donald and Elon possibly just went nuclear. This is gonna be interesting. I have no idea. I'm not gonna get in the middle of it. I could care less. This is definitely not helping Elon right now. But he went nuclear. We are for friggin' shizzle. Get into that here in just a moment. Do want to let you guys know I've got my live show coming up today, which this will probably not be out by the time that I get that going. So I don't think it'll matter in the big picture. Where the hell? There it is. It's like I lost this. This is what I was looking for. Oh yeah, that's the big drop right there. Right there. Yeah, if you read it, you read it. If not, you can go back and read it. We're going to get there, not too terribly long. Craziness going on in the world, folks. Insanity, one might even say. Let's get into it. First off, Supreme Court. They said gun companies should not face lawsuits in which the Mexican government was trying to hold them liable. That's been kicked down, kicked to the corner. Do it. So that's not going to be happening any longer. Fantastic news on that one. Also, half of the liberal women under 30, half, 50% of liberal women, or at least women that call themselves liberal, say that they're mentally ill. Half, 50%. That's like Eddie Murphy's, what was the one after Delirious, right? Eddie Murphy, whatever it was. The girl riding on the thing backwards, whatever. Eddie Murphy, I want my money, half, right? Whatever it was. Doesn't matter. Pew Research data shows estimated 50% of liberal women under the age of 30 say they have mental health condition. Probably have one of them little pets they take around with them everywhere they go. Speaking of which, not that it's because she looks like Chia. Not. It doesn't. Okay, it did sort of. Anonymous Biden staffers have gone scorched earth on Karine Jean-Pierre. One coming to find out. Axios is in the middle of this anonymously leaking stuff. I mean, it's probably true in this case, for sure. Everybody, a bunch of people coming out just saying everybody had to treat her special, that she'd say stupid stuff, get them in trouble, she'd make things worse, that some of her answers were retarded. I'm using my form of words to save time or be able to waste it in other places. All said, yeah, a lot of people are not happy with Karine Jean-Pierre. Usually when you leave the reservation for whatever reason it might be, they tend to get a little pissy, we've come to find. We got some ship. It's south, just barely south, I guess, of Alaska, and heading down to Mexico. It's got some electric vehicles on it. Apparently 3,000 total vehicles. I think something like 600 of them, or 300 or 600 of them are electric. And this, they seem to be on fire. We don't have a lot of really good, solid intel. There's no video per se. I've got some lots of pictures. The smoke is white. There is an onboard fire suppression system, but the entire 22 crew were like, F this nonsense, and they got the hell out of there. Now, part of me thinks that's, I don't know, maybe this is really that bad. It does look pretty bad, actually. At first, I was like, it's just maybe in a small section, right? Like, keep trying to fight the fire while you get Coast Guard or someone to show up. But I don't know. It looks like the engine's on or something because you've got some churn going on over here. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But many people are, suspicious. It doesn't seem to be going out quickly. That would definitely make you think that you're possibly having the battery-powered cars are the ones that they're having problems, right? Those are the ones that usually are a little bit, little sucky, one might say. We've got some pretty good little moments here with our good friend Dan Bongino. I'm going to go 6 minutes. I'm going to go ahead 1.25 speed. Apologize to you guys that are listening to me faster as it is. But they're talking about a lot of good stuff here. The corrupt politicians, potentially people getting busted, Mar-a-Lago raid, a lot of kind of rapid fire. And again, Epstein files not coming out. We just had Musk drop the bomb in regards to why the Epstein files haven't come out. We'll get there. If you guys saw it already, you saw it, which I kind of left it there intentionally a little longer. I could have edited it out or anything if I want. I wanted you guys to see it. It's crazy. Needless to say, here's Dan Bongino talking about some of the crazy that's coming.
And a lightning round. Let's go quickly. COVID origins. Are we going to find out information that the government lied to us? You damn right you are. And we're all over that. The minute I got in there in that job, I said, hey,
they
get everybody
purposely
in here.
lied to the American people. They
Well,
purposely
you're going to
lied
find
to
out.
us.
Yeah, listen, that's the one I'm the most optimistic about. I was pretty clear on my social media account that I ordered that case immediately to be looked into again. We have a great investigator on it, and I think we should see action on that one shortly.
Let me ask you about this. The prior FBI director, or directors, let's say, we saw a double standard when it came to the Mar-a-Lago raid and top secret and classified information, Donald Trump versus Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Did you see any evidence? Has any evidence emerged that former directors may have tried to cover their tracks? And you did mention the other day that maybe traps were being set for you and Cash.
Well, I'll address you addressed the Mar-a-Lago raid. Action was taken on that because it involves human resources issues. I can't make specific comments, but anyone telling you we didn't action that is lying to you, absolutely lying to you. I assure you, we did.
Was it political, in other words? Was that a political decision?
Sean, because it involves some specific HR actions we had to take. I don't want to get into specifics on that, but I'll leave it at this. We found some really troubling items in there that we actioned immediately, to say the least. Also,
so is it fair to say that a double standard was applied in that case in terms of top secret classified information? Is that fair?
Well, I think that's fairly clear when you look at how two cases were handled there. And that's why we did a scrub immediately of holdings. And like I said, we had to take action on that immediately. And there was another case. You brought up another case. You brought up the other directors. Comey, as a matter of fact, the guy who has a lot to say, ironically, about me and Cash, and that's fine. He's allowed an opinion. He is a free American citizen like anyone else. But we found items. I addressed this on Fox and Friends, and I can go into a little bit more detail, but we found things. We found documents that were not where they should have been, and they were not good, flattering documents for Jim Comey. So the hubris displayed from a man like Jim Comey, who disgraced the FBI numerous times with his role in Crossfire Hurricane and other abominations, it's just kind of stunning that he continues to attack our leadership when we have to clean up the mess Jim Comey created as we continue to find stuff from his era and vintage.
Well, he signed 3 of the 4 FISA warrants that were all based. The bulk of information presented to the FISA court was the dirty Russian disinformation dossier that Hillary Clinton paid for. Between that and the origins of Crossfire Hurricane, are you finding evidence that they knew damn well that that was false and that they did it for political reasons? That in fact the FBI, what is supposed to be the world's premier law enforcement agency, was politicized and weaponized?
I think of all the troubling things I've seen so far on the reform agenda, the Crossfire Hurricane documents and what we found are those. Now, again, I've seen some commentary because I enjoy the feedback. I do. I like it. And people are wondering where are the documents. Well, the documents are coming out. The problem with the documents coming out, and Director Patel has said this multiple times, it is a rolling production of Crossfire Hurricane documents. Well, you may ask, fair enough, why the hell is it rolling? Get it all out. Because we don't have it all. Yeah. Well, why don't you have it all? Because nobody gave it to us all. Well, why didn't they do that? Exactly. We're finding stuff. We have a lot of good people working on it, I promise you. But the bad people kind of knew what they were doing. So the rolling production is rolling for a reason. As soon as we find this stuff, and other intelligence agencies have some equities in it too, and we can clear that through the process, we're getting it out. Members of Congress and the U.S. Senate that have reached out, we're getting them the stuff as soon as it comes in. And yes, one of the specific documents I read indicates to me that there was a large degree of malfeasance here. We're not just talking misfeasance.
Let me ask you about, are you going to be looking into, Cash and Pam, any potential collusion between the DOJ, Letitia James, the novel legal theory of Alvin Bragg, or Nathan Wade, or Fani Willis, and the DOJ? Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get ahead of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this. The FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that.
No, I didn't come here to make friends. I don't give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends. If you're a politician,
want a friend in D.C., get a dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, that just seemed like a long time just to get to the end of that. But yes, a lot of corruption stuff, a lot of stuff's coming. We're going to hear about a lot of things. Again, a lot of stuff's going to be spun in unique ways, which is one of the things I think we're going to find out about. I think Elon Musk probably bringing up. Frankly, I think Donald Trump is one of the more kind of ridiculously, like, I mean, he hasn't done alcohol or caffeine. I mean, like, well, he does caffeine. He hasn't smoked. Hasn't done really anything bad. Dude's like just hardcore. He's been a ladies' man his whole life, so I'm not surprised that maybe we might find out some scandalous stuff here and there, but we'll see. MyPillow.com/OTF. Good transition. You like that? Because right into it, when you think about banging somebody, you need a bed. You need a bed. You need sheets. You need sheets that'll stay on the bed, too, especially if you're doing anything like I do. It's mainly the trapeze. We had it installed, I don't know, recently. The dismount's a little tricky, but I've gotten pretty good at it. So yeah, everyone's got a stripper pole, but I mean, yeah, no. So I think the trampoline is probably the best part, but it just depends. Depends on the night sometimes, Just call it what you will. All said, one of the places you want to go to get the best sheets, yeah, MyPillow. They got these Giza ones, high thread count. These are incredible. Great sheets, great color. Any size, $49.98. Also percale sheets, any size, any color, $29.98. These, again, they made up too many of them for a big box store thing. So while the supplies last, you're going to be able to get them. So I would highly recommend taking advantage of that. Also, when it comes to towels, any of their towels are incredible. $9.99 is the dish towels. Their regular ones are just a bit more than that. You got to click on the thing. 50% off the beach towels. Those are actually really, really nice as well. I bought like 3 of them, and they're really big. They're like beach towel size. Like if you're a bachelor or whatever, I'm just meaning someone. If you're poor, I'm gonna say it that way, right? Make it easy. Dude, this is like a one-stop shop for a towel, right? You can take this one to the pool if you got friends that have pools. And then, you can use it at the shower. Like, got it all going on. Next, Energy Generation drinks. These are super good. These Rev 7 drinks are incredibly tasty, high energy, no sugar. So you stay in ketosis. It's like 10 milligrams of salt, so there's like no salt. It's ridiculous how much flavor they have. They got a free 3-pack if you haven't checked it out. It's free shipping. You go ahead and check that out. Also, you can order it by the 12-pack, which I have done. I've gotten 2 of them. I very much like. I like the blueberry citrus and the lemonade are both super, super good. The green one tastes like green Jolly Rancher, which was my least favorite Jolly Rancher. That's all. I like it. It was okay, but it was my least favorite. But it is that green apple. It's very much that flavor. It's good. It's just, again, my least favorite. That's all. Dog beds. They've got the best. You love them. They've got roll and go pillows. You're going to get a free one up here, by the way. I keep forgetting to mention this. This was an exclusive special that we got from Mike Lindell. Thank you very much. That's because of you guys. Literally, we're one of 3 channels we had. I don't know. They might be in more places now. I don't know. But initially, it was just 3 of us. That was pretty sweet. We were up there with the War Room, folks. They have like 1 million subs plus. They're all over the place, right? Dudes always there live filming. Like, they got a serious deal going on. Yeah, so that's, the fact that we're there, man, I was proud. I was proud of us. We did a good job, guys. So go to mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. If you spend over $100, you're going to get $100 in digital coupons. I'm expecting to know exactly what that is. It's actually any day. We've got my shipment is on its way, so we'll find out how that plays out. But they should be really good. From what I understand, they're awesome coupons. You spend $100, you're going to get $100 worth of coupons, and you're going to get the free roll and go pillow. Boom, just like that. Go to mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. I still think it's funny I make up like lyrics and jingles for them.
Fortunately, President Trump has quickly slammed the border shut by simply enforcing existing law, but this administration needs the resources to detain and process and deport the millions of dangerous illegals who President Biden welcomed into the country. And this is why we need the one big beautiful bill. One of the many reasons for President Trump's desk as quickly as possible to sign into law, because among the other features in the bill, it includes $45 billion to expand ICE detention capacity, $1 billion to hire 200 immigration judges and to expand immigration courtroom space. There's $1 billion in there to hire 2,700 new ICE Office of Principal Legal Advisor attorneys to expedite removal proceedings, and $14 billion for air and ground transportation, sufficient to support at least 1 million removals per year. We need to go find the other Solomons and get them out of America.
We've got this big, giant, beautiful bill. Big, beautiful bill, right? It's not big, giant, beautiful bill because that just fucks all the letters up. So it's a big, beautiful bill, right? bountiful, beautiful bill. Bubbly, beautiful bill. All these things. It's definitely freaking a lot of people out. Now, I'm on board with the idea of the bill. I understand that debt's got to be raised. I think they raise it because personally, and I'm just going to give my quick skinny, right? Everybody else is fighting about it right now, whatever. Like, that's cool. Fight about it. In fact, put your comments in the comments below. That'd be awesome, right? Like, be awesome for sure. Be awesome. And hit the thumbs up if you don't mind while you're down there. This whole thing is a giant ship that has to be steered. We were going, and just the interest alone is we were expected to gain $2 trillion in additional spending just in interest alone. Now, if the Fed would actually lower the interest rates, which they should, then we can refinance a lot of that debt. That kind of actually helps in the big picture. It also helps advance GDP growth. By advancing GDP growth, I think they said that was the one. That was the stat I was trying to remember the other day. But I want to say for every certain percentage of GDP growth, and it wasn't even a full percent, I don't think, but it was that's worth like $1 trillion. $1 trillion in tax revenue. So there's a lot of these factors that aren't really being taken into account. There's a slow movement to try to get us out of some of the bad contracts we've been in. This budget, and we're going to get into it here in a second, this budget couldn't necessarily put forward any laws that change anything because otherwise it wouldn't be a reconciliation anymore. Then the Senate couldn't vote on it the way they are, right? It would have to be a 60 plus vote, 60% or whatever. So there's huge components to this. And again, spending's out of control. Waste is out of control. Condensing is necessary. We're still just 4 months in to the administration at this point. Huge things have happened. So do I see the need to raise the debt? Yeah, because again, $2 trillion for sure by the end of this year, 3, 4, maybe into next year. We don't want to have to raise it again. And Trump is trying to bring down costs, but at the same time, pay for a whole crap ton of stuff that Johnson was just talking about there. And the military and this iron or Golden Dome. Golden Dome's, many speculate, and I believe it's true. This was kind of what I felt already too, so it was sort of confirming for what information I had, but the Golden Dome's been there for a long time. Reagan started it with Star Wars way back when. A lot of the missing money that Austin Fitts was talking about is not all just in this breakaway civilization. A bunch of it's been shoved off into black projects too. What are they called? Star Wars is probably a chunk of that. Also, I would assume we've got some craft, and certainly probably we've got at least a fleet of ships too that are black ships that are not known to the regular military. And I would assume there's an aircraft carrier and probably fighter craft. And there's trillions of dollars that have been pumped into all sorts of crazy stuff. Russ Vought, said OMB just reviewed the new CBO score of the One Big Beautiful Bill. It confirms what we knew about the bill at House passage. The bill reduces deficits by $1.4 trillion over 10 years when you adjust for CBO's one big gimmick, not using a realistic current policy baseline. It includes $1.7 trillion in mandatory savings, the most ever in history. If you care about deficits and debt, this bill dramatically improves the fiscal picture. It does. It's a step in the frickin' right direction. There's an individual, we've got a post that's going to come up, but it's like our government right now is so stupid broken. Congress is stupid broken. The fact that this passed the House was amazing. The fact that it's going to pass the Senate will be amazing as well. They're bitching about it, but they're going to pass it. They're going to pass it. They really don't have a choice. Everybody's going to pass it. They have to. Now, in defense of the big, beautiful bill, this is kind of some of the stuff that's sort of relevant. First off, DOGE cuts can't be added to a reconciliation bill. As Trump Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller pointed out, the big, beautiful bill is a reconciliation bill, so DOGE cuts couldn't have been codified in it. DOGE cuts are to discretionary spending. Example, the federal bureaucracy. Under Senate budget rules, you cannot cut discretionary spending, only mandatory in a reconciliation bill. So that's the thing. If he wouldn't have done it this way, if they would have put a bunch of other stuff in there, there's no way it would have gotten through the Senate. No chance in hell. Trump knows what he's doing. Elon, I mean, again, I love the guy, but I don't think he gets all of this, right? He knows how to make rocket ships and shit like that, but let's not pretend you fully understand politics too, dude. Right? I know you spent a few days in the White House, like 100 and few. The big, beautiful bill funds the biggest illegal migration crackdown ever. It's actually funding getting people out of here. That costs money. Technically saves us money too. Every person that we can remove is a person that's not possibly sucking off the tit as well, or teat as one should say, but tit sounds much better. So we've got all sorts of different ICE personnel and yada, yada, yada all over the place. Cracking down on illegal migration saves money. It just does, like I was saying, all over the place. Every step, every way, all over. Now, this is really kind of one of the key data points that a lot of us have to understand. It's the only way to cut a lot of spending that is popular and doable right now is to do what they're doing. Now, what I mean by that is when you look at the largest majority of the amount of money we spend, it is, is it discretionary or non-discretionary? I forget what, but it's the Social Security, it's the Medicare, Medicaid, and defense. Well, but the three, okay, the social services, Veterans Affairs, even for that matter, that takes up like 2/3 of all the money we spend. It is the most significant place to try to peel back money. Now, we haven't necessarily peeled back money as much as we've tried to find a way to make it not okay for illegal people to dip into this money. By doing that, you're saving or / cutting. So that's got to be taken into account too. 2/3 of this. 2/3 of this budget is through all that. You know, Elon Musk is pissed. And of course, Rand Paul says, to be clear, I support making tax cuts permanent and disagree with CBO's claim that they add to the debt. My objection is this: raising the debt ceiling by $5 trillion is reckless and irresponsible. Elon Musk's like bullseye. Now, again, I get it. We don't want to have to ever raise it again, and I don't think we should have to. But I think Trump's also like, let's just raise it enough so we don't need to raise it again, and let's get this ship turned around so we start going down backwards at that point. So there seems to be a lot of things that, right, wrong, and different, Elon's maybe not necessarily taken into account. Medicare changes on the table for the big, beautiful bill. So again, Tom Tillis is saying, you know, Republican senators taking a closer look, finding savings in Medicare, because they understand this is where we've got to shave money. It's not that we want to stop giving people benefits. No, not at all, in fact. We just want to make sure only citizens are getting benefits, one. And two, we want to make sure that it's efficient and we're not wasting money there as well. Probably are. Let's save some money. Let's stop saying that the budget always has to get bigger. How about no? How about no? How about it stays the same size and then the actual growth is going to be in the savings you guys find? How about that? Again, the Congressional Budget Office released a report estimating that the House passed 1,116-page bill would add $2.4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. And then at the same time, they said $2.5 trillion in savings. So again, a lot of fun stuff. And I still like the number, right? 1116, just basically 3 and 6, 9 completion. I like 9 numbers. I'm a freak. I'm a freak with nines. Not like I have them all over my house or anything, but it's a symbolic number to me. Let's put it that way. Here's President Trump talking about Elon Musk said a lot of beautiful things, but he knows that's going to change, which it has already. But here's Trump at least saying it, the first part before it happened.
He said the most beautiful things about me, and he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very. He said the most beautiful things about me, and he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Yeah, disappointed to say the least. And again, he knew the swipes were going to come. Again, Elon Musk here talking about Donald Trump's post back in 2013. Trump said, "I cannot believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I am a Republican and I am embarrassed." And Elon Musk's like, wise words. Again, right? Shots fired, as many are saying. Donald Trump truthed this out. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. This is what needed to happen. Elon wanted to keep getting his money, which would have been good for his companies, but which is expensive for the United States and unnecessary. We're not doing this Green New Deal nonsense anymore. So, yay, you built an electric car company. Well, they're not mandatory now. Elon, looks like you made an interesting choice following what the deep state was planning on doing, and maybe you thought Trump was actually deep state and he was just gonna, like finally change colors at the end or something. I don't know. And again, I have no slam on anybody right now. And I'm not blindly just following Trump, but I feel like Trump has been attacked and brutalized so severely. Like if they just did all that as an act to get me to believe they did a damn good job. I mean, they did a good job in my opinion. Joey Manarino, not sure who the hell this guy is, but he's a blue checker, so that means he pays money every month. Said Trump is not wrong. Elon Musk is not wrong. Elon is working under the assumption that Congress actually wants to do the job and wants to save our country. Trump is working under the reality that these people are absolute scum, and you cannot get anything perfect passed through the current legislators. We'd all love a bill that eliminates the entire IRS, gets rid of all the pork in government, and completely guts to the administrative state. It wouldn't get 20 votes in the House. The bill on the floor is about as good as it's going to get with this current crap of Congress. I'd rather have that than nothing. Elon is not wrong, and he is not our enemy. 100% agree with what he's saying. This is why I said Johnson I thought was uniquely well suited for the job. This is not a position where you just try to get votes together. Like, nobody really understands how stupid these caucuses are and all this nonsense. It's just got the word cock based into it. Like, I mean, that's the root word of it. It's cock. You know it's right there. C-A-U-C. Cock. It's right there. Yeah. Cock. Did I say it once? I think if you say it once, you got to say it twice. I mean, it's a beautiful word. Tesla shares have now tumbled as Musk escalates the attacks. So now Tesla's stock has gone down another 9%. Another 9%. Because of the attack that Musk is doing. I'm not sure if he was wanting deals. I'm not sure if maybe he was expecting certain special treatments, special preference, especially with Space Force and all the different stuff. He's like, look, if I come in and do this free stuff, you're going to hook me up, right? And Trump was like, all right, so we're getting rid of the EV mandate. And Musk's like, what's that about? And Trump's like, we're going to give a bunch of money to Boeing and hopefully give them a chance to compete against you guys. Essentially, it hasn't been said yet, but that's part of this. So Musk is pissed, but his shares are taking a shizzle right now. Where'd it go? There you are. So yeah, Elon Musk posted this. This is the big bomb. The big holy shizmaster. Time to drop the really big bomb. @Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Huh. Okay. Again, not touching this. Don't know exactly what happened. But like, I'll say this is funny. I mean, again, I was literally trying to manifest. I'm going to manifest a Tesla. I think it'd be cool. I just think it would work out. I got solar panels almost finally set up. It just made sense. Like, I could charge it for free. I could drive it mostly for free. It'd be like, not free, but nothing's free, but mostly, right? Like, at least get more out of the solar. And I would might still buy an electric. Don't get me wrong. I got a gas car and I'm not getting rid of it. I love my gas car. Love my gas car. Love it. Did I mention? Right? But man, I might not actually get a Tesla now unless something weird happens and I finally realize that this is just some sort of ruse, which is possible. I mean, I'm on the Trump side of this equation, not Musk. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Crazy times, crazy things happening. President Trump, he's signed a presidential memorandum. He's reviewing certain presidential actions. They're referring to the auto pen. They're actually digging into the auto pen based off of this memorandum, this presidential memorandum. Formal investigation into who was truly exercising presidential authority during the Joe Biden's time in office. Now, what's interesting is I know, because Comer was talking about this yesterday-ish, or slightly before, but he was talking about how they're totally going after this. They think they know who these people are. Within 24 hours, a whole bunch of them are going to come in and actually have to give some sort of comment, if you will. Yet now, President Trump's administration, as an executive branch, is now looking into the auto pen. Now, again, I cannot imagine wherever this machine is. First off, it just tripped me out. It's actually, I think, a machine that literally, I think, has an arm that literally signs, like, legitimately. It's not a digital signature. It's literally physically signing, which is like, wow, that's weird. It's like, when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, it's like DocuSign, right? And they're like, well, no one said this to me, but I saw a few pictures, images of this machine. And I'm like, holy shit, I think it's actually a machine. The auto pen, I think, is a machine that moves the friggin' pen. How crazy is that? You gotta have a really good pen, too, by the way, right? Like, how many of you, like, that crap big pen, and you're like, fucker? You know, it's like, fuck, right? Like, sucks, right? And then you borrow a pen from someone and never give it back. That's how you do that. So the actions happen. The fight is occurring. It's not good for the bad guys. That is for sure. Hackers leaked 86 million AT&T records with decrypted social security numbers. Wow. Now that's pretty sweet. So yeah, hackers, call them what you want. Again, I don't know who's who anymore. And was it a hack? Was it an actual fish? Hard to say as well. They're getting really good, and they've gotten really good with AI, being able to fake pretending to be specific people in the company, right? Like one thing they were doing at the company I was at is they the top dude, they would pretend to be him and then hit up like his assistant and ask her to buy a bunch of gift cards and just be like, yeah, we've got this thing coming up, just buy a bunch of these gift cards, and they'd buy them, and it wasn't him doing it. So I don't know what was happening, but the numbers were getting anyway. It was a big mess, big mess. We got a judge is ruling Abrego Garcia's lawyers can seek sanctions against the government. This is the guy that was the El Salvador dude. What this mistake is all about, really, is that he apparently, there was supposed to be a stay because El Salvador didn't like him, or he was considered to be like, he would have been persona non grata, he would have been hurt, right, and all that, injured. So they're like, all right, well, we won't send you back. So ultimately, he gets sent back to El Salvador, I guess on accident. This is where the mistake happened. And what does the dude do? I forgot the guy's name that's down there. But what does the cool-ass president down there do? He eventually pulls him out of the prison and sends him to another country. So, hey, we're not holding him anymore. No worries. We're not going to do any harm to him. And maybe he's safe. Maybe he's not. Who knows? Well, now the judge is like telling the government it's got to basically file a response. Wednesday's orders from Zinnis, is a new guy, comes after Abrego Garcia's attorney said in the court filing that some of the discovery productions by the government included highly redacted internal messages and other materials that were classified and confidential or attorney's eyes only. So they couldn't even see half the stuff. It was kind of funny. So anyway, they're still trying to keep this ruse going. Now, Judge Boasberg, we remember him, he strikes again. Hundreds of Venezuelans deported to El Salvador under an 18th century wartime law must be given the chance to challenge their detentions, he's now saying. There's no way in hell this is going to stand. This is awesome that he's pushing it. He's pushing it now, too, by the way, because this might slow Trump down while the Supreme Court's in recess, because they're not going to take this up, and certainly it's not going to get to them. But this could get through the appellate process, and the appellate court might do the right thing. So again, we'll see. More Boasberg nonsense. That's way over the line in this particular case, but it is what's happening these days. Trump issues a proclamation banning international students at Harvard from entering the U.S. This is huge. I think they were initially trying to cut down their total volume of students from foreign nations down to something like 15%. I think it was higher than that, like 30 maybe. So they said you have to dump that down to 15, which Harvard kind of doesn't like, because the people that come from out of country pay a much higher amount of money to go to school there. But now they're also saying China no. And China's been a big old hand job for Harvard, right? Just big old good times, happy ending there. And this is over. And Trump is putting an end to it. And that's what's happening. Now, this is how it's playing out. This is the back and forth with the information. But ultimately, this is what's going on. They've been passing security information back to China. Billions of dollars of studies and grants are being done there, and they're, again, giving this information back to China. Now, one of the things that might be an advantage, or just I'm curious for sure, is how many places specifically we're giving to China and how many places were kind of shielded. I think there's a number of pieces of technology that we have that never, ever, ever made it to China. That China's like, what? Like the golden dome stuff. I don't think China and Russia really knew what we all have up there. And by the way, just something to throw at you real quick. I was thinking about this and I kind of chuckled. I'm like, if you can shoot down a missile, especially one at launch, well, maybe that's not possible. Maybe it's more when they get up to the top, but they're going really fast at that point. But maybe, right? Wherever. Let's assume you can hit them down where they launch, though. That would mean you could shoot down planes from space. Yeah. Drones, planes, anything you want. See, this is why everybody's freaking out. I don't care how good your stealth fighter is, China, Russia, your newest Gen 6 fighters. We could shoot it down from space. We don't even need to get near you. Now, fighters will still be required. They'll still be necessary. But drones and fighters and a lot of things are going to be, missiles are going to be minimized. It's going to change everything. Everything's changing, big time. AI companies are turning to nuclear power as a source, which makes sense, by the way. Again, the only concern I have, folks, I toured a nuclear power plant. I actually think it's a great way to go. It is one of the cleanest forms of energy that's out there as far as a very dirty form of energy, like if something happens. But outside of that, creates zero CO2. Zero carbon is created by a nuclear plant. So it could keep them happy. Now, oh my God, it's nuclear, whatever. But it creates megawatts or gigawatts even in some cases of power with zero carbon. And it's none of this nonsense bullshit of solar or, oh, it's not a sunny day. We don't have any of that today. Well, nuclear is 24/7, 365 and a quarter, 365.25, which I don't even know if that's true anymore. The Earth's like slowing down so much weird crap. So AI, they're turning to building some of these reactors. I think what Trump is working on doing is getting a lot of these companies to help with the cost of the reactor. That way they get access to it, so free power for them, basically. And then any residual power that it still has, it can feed back to the grid. And this is a way for us to get more electricity into our system, which is what we need. Now, again, if the world's getting crazy and the electrical system's going down the way it is, and we're about to have the problems that it seems like we are going to have, and maybe, again, I think there's ways around this, but if that's true, nuclear power is a little sketch. Like if everything stops working and people stop showing up to work, or just a bunch of people suddenly die, or I don't know, whatever. Nuclear suddenly becomes a huge liability because nobody's servicing this thing, and eventually it's going to go critical and start releasing radiation. So every place one of these exists could potentially be a hazard. Now, there's many that would say they could make it into weapons. That's true too, but I don't think weapons are allowed at this moment. Germany right now. So Germany is, and I'm going to show a couple slides just to demonstrate. Germany is the number one GDP producer in Europe. Sufficiently. Germany's screwed. They're about to totally go bankrupt. EU is screwed. Now, this was back in 2023, back when Britain, England, United Kingdom was still a part of England, or Europe, sorry. Right? So Germany was 4.1 trillion GDP, right? Or 4.1 million. What was that? Million? Oh, it's in million euros. Okay, so whatever. Right? 4.1. United Kingdom was almost a full million euros lower. It's got to be a billion. Oh, that's in millions. So that's going to be trillions. Okay, so trillion euros. So 4 trillion euros, 4.1 trillion is Germany. United Kingdom was 3.1. And then France at 2.8. Very close, but no cigar. Now, this year, best we can tell thus far what the expectation is. One, England is no longer part of the EU, so their numbers aren't even in there now. Germany's 4.7, good. 2025, 4.9 is the expectation, 4.7 for 2024. France, 2024 was 3.1. Now, again, Germany's about to be bankrupt. They can't afford to float everything. By the way, Hungary, who we love so much, 228 billion or whatever. Like, they're way down there. And again, that's great that they are being as angering as they are, but they are a teeny tiny country. Now, Italy, fortunately, is number 3. Was number 4, now number 3. 2.3 trillion. So she does have some sway. But the amount of money is, well, Europe is in a tough place. Let's just put it that way. And then this whole trade thing that's going on with China, this is going to be interesting. European Central Bank, they cut the rates by 25 basis points or 0.25%. This is also, well, it's what our Fed should have done. And this also indicates that, yes, there is, in fact, shrinkage going on, right? Going into the cold water. You know what I'm talking about. That's major shrinkage going on. And so they have to lower the interest rate to try to get people to start borrowing money. Because, again, we have a debt-based system. The debt-based system has to stop, by the way. So we're nearing the breaking point somehow. And we're seeing it tater-totter. Ooh, that sounds, God, I'm hungry. That sounds good. I'd love to take some taters right now. U.S. jobless claims surged to 8-month highs. I think we're finally starting to see some of the firings, certainly of government jobs, but also probably maybe some of the others. Though there's quite a bit of hiring. I've been seeing all sorts of hiring numbers from a number of different sources. I know the ADP numbers came in weak, but there was another report that came in prior to that was surprisingly strong. So, man, we are, I think they want everybody to think Trump is doing a piss poor job. And then I think ultimately they want to try to keep things floating far enough to where they can do it when they want to do it and try to blame Trump, whatever the case is. I don't know. It's we are definitely on shaky ground. Trump is trying to do everything I believe he can to put us into a better position to be able to handle this. Like, if it happened today, I would suck for probably 9 months, maybe a year, right? If it happens 3 months from now, it'll probably suck for about 6 months, maybe 9 months from now, then, right? So really, like, we're improving every single day, but just depends when the hammer falls. So Trump's using his emergency powers. He's boosting U.S. critical minerals industry. He's going to mine any place he can. He doesn't give a shit what environmentalists say right now. He's like, yeah, national interests right now. We can't make stuff that we need for the military. Like, F you. I don't care what you're saying. Yeah, sure, courts tell me no. I don't give a crap. I'm going to do it anyway. Whatever. Supreme Court can talk to me eventually. We are in strange times. Now, this is fascinating. She talked to Trump, and apparently one of the big things, at least this is kind of his public stance, she's public stance, was he's urging Trump to remove negative measures. I don't exactly know what that means, but they want to have more talks. They had a chit-chat. They literally talked on the phone. They want to work to reduce misunderstandings, and that Trump was welcome to visit in China, which is a very large gesture, and one where I would actually wonder if Trump would go there. I could see him doing it. I can actually see that one happening. I feel like he'd be safe there. But yeah, like, they would want to shoot him down 6 ways from Sunday. I mean, Trump, Xi, Putin are people that desperately are hated on this planet right now. So we'll see again how it continues to play out. This is such an interesting movie, as they would say. Stock market was up earlier. So it's just been loopy-loo. Look at it. Like, again, it's just making these funny little up and down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Same thing. So all of it's down a little bit, but down nonetheless. Gold was up. Now it's back down under 34. It's at 33.80, though. It's still rocking as far as I'm concerned. Well, now all of a sudden the VIX is going up, which I think means our confidence level is going down. It's like backwards, if I remember correctly, with the VIX. So it was going down earlier when I was looking at it. Yeah, it was down a bit. Now it's spiking like mad at the end of the day there. Yeah. A lot of it, I think, has to do with the craziness going on with Musk and Trump. Now, again, this to me seems very, very perfectly placed. This to me seems like a fake fight. Now, for Musk to take the damage on the stocks, he probably figures they're going to come back around, so whatever. It is what it is. But I don't know. For whatever reason, this feels really weirdly out of place. And again, if Trump, I could see Musk wanting to be around way too much, and Trump's kind of like, dude, I gotta have conversations with people that like I can't have in front of you. And I think some of that stuff was the stuff that was starting to maybe, like, I could see where egos got involved. So that would be the place where I could see, like, Musk's like, what do you mean? I'm like the richest dude on the planet. What do you mean I can't hear about it? What are you talking about? Like this, right? Like, I could understand where he's coming from with it, and Trump being like, yeah, no, you absolutely can't, dude. There are so many things you have no idea about, bro. Right? Like, so I think a lot of the fighting is coming through that. Again, I don't like where the system's at. I don't like the way things look. I don't recommend staying in their system. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, and that's where your wealth is, that's where you've parked your hard-earned savings for many, many, many years, it's likely at great risk. I would highly recommend considering diversification, getting out of their system into precious metals. Precious metals are just doing an insane job at holding value, and I still think there's a lot that we've got coming up that, again, at some point, and they always said gold would kill the Fed, but at some point the Fed's got to look like it's failed, right? It just has to. Otherwise, we're never getting out of that system. And that has to happen. Understand that. Understand that something crazy's got to go down, and it's got to be so bad, but hopefully not too bad, but bad enough to where everybody goes, totally, we need to get out of that system. They are ripping us off. Do you want to be in the stock market when that day comes? I sure as hell wouldn't. I don't. That's why I got out. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system. They're going to get you out tax-free, penalty-free. They're literally getting you physical metals. They're putting them into a trust. Now, I will say, once it's all done and said, I've oftentimes wondered what would happen if you then hit them up and said, hey, I'd like to cash that up, but I want you to send me the precious metals. And Goldco's going to be like, you're going to get hit with penalties and taxes, and you'll have to pay that in cash. And, I just wonder if we like, all right, bill me, right? Like, I'll take the hit with the IRS and we'll see what happens. I've thought about it before. That's certainly not recommended. I'm not giving financial advice, but it would be a way to get the metals in hand, which is what I've thought about, because typically if it's in hand, you're in a different place altogether. But it is actual physical metals. It's in a trust. It's a beautiful thing. And Goldco helps you do it all. Now, they don't believe any of the crazy crap I talk about. They're going to help you do this by the book, 100% legally. And they're going to give you the best advice, like, hey, most people don't go more than 50% of diversification. Like if you try to do all of it or something, they might try to say, hey, just want to let you know that's not what most clients do. And so they'll nudge if they can, but they're not there to give you advice. They're there to help connect and dot the I's and cross the T's. And they do it better than anybody. They've got the best customer service out there. You can ask all the questions you want and make sure you do. Because it is a big deal, but ultimately physical metals, we know people are talking about. I love it, man. Gold and silver is it's a beautiful thing, and it's performed extraordinary, especially over the last few years. And we've got still some major crazy to go through. Don't get caught like waiting. This takes a few weeks to do. This isn't something that you can just call them today and then it's done tomorrow. Like takes, a week or 2 or 3. Depends. A lot of it depends on, well, there's many factors. So understand they're going to do it as quick as they can. And that's also part of what you're paying for to a degree. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Protect your wealth while the deep state struggles to keep theirs. Go to DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system. Get out of that nasty, icky system. Here's Howard Lutnick talking about how NOAA has a bunch of research people, but they were working separate. Like, he's like, dude, this is insanity. So he's just talking about all the different places in our government that is just, run like government efficiency, which is inefficient.
I want to talk about the funding for NOAA and the National Weather Service. Missouri has gotten hit pretty hard. We have a lot of tornadoes. We had a bad spring, and it's still going on. There was a lot of damage in my district just south of Kansas City. We have a regional NOAA center in Pleasant Hill, Missouri. It's a smaller center like you were talking about earlier. And I heard you talking about what's going to be happening in the future to some of these centers. Are centers like Pleasant Hill, which they already have some vacancies, are those regional centers in danger of closing at any time in the future, as far as you know, being replaced by automation and AI in a centralized location?
I'll give you an example in Missouri, which was we have all these research people in NOAA,
Right.
but they were separate from operational. So we started putting them together to take that research and start using it. And what it did is it produced an analysis that showed that we had horrible tornado conditions in Missouri. And so 2 hours earlier than the record ever in NOAA, we gave those warnings and saved 120 people, got them out 2 hours earlier. So we are totally on it. But the concept of having 4 people, and one of them has a baby and one of them's out sick and somehow we're not able to do it 24 hours a day, seems silly. That we should have, if we have 2,100 meteorologists, I promise you, we can cover the United States of America 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we can have better technology, right? We used to have human beings would launch a weather balloon.
Right.
Like, I could imagine, like, someone just going, whoop, come on. It's called autosonders. We now do it in an automated fashion. So I don't need the person to launch the balloon. So, because I can launch the balloon.
So I've been inside the center.
And I mean, that's that kind of stuff. There's like this old government systems. Like, we need a person. You're saying you want to get rid of that person, replace him with a robot. Now we need to have 2 people, because now we need to have a person that verifies that person that was going to do it didn't just do it, that the robot did, and then somebody to verify that happened. So now we got to hire a second person. Howard, you're costing us money. You can see him doing that, right? Like, I mean, I don't think I'm that far off from reality. At least we're fixing that, thank God. Trump administration threatens Columbia University's accreditation over its civil rights violations. He's put them in the crosshairs as well. Obviously, Harvard is the big one, and Columbia University is still very much in the crosshairs. So good stuff. The Department of Justice is moving to pull federal election funding from Wisconsin for failing to comply with integrity laws. This is very interesting. Trump Justice Department moved late Wednesday to punish Wisconsin for allegedly failing to comply with federal voting integrity laws, taking the first step to withhold future federal funds for administering elections. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon formally notified the Wisconsin Election Commission that it was not in compliance with the Helping Americans Vote Act, HAVA, specifically for failing to set up a system to field and resolve voter complaints about election integrity. So now they have to put that in place, or else they don't get money, which they need. Texas finally halts tuition for illegals. Good job, finally, Texas. You guys think you're so great sometimes, but it's like you guys literally were giving in-state tuition to illegals and charging people within this country out-of-state tuition to go to your universities. But people that were here out of this country illegally, you'd give them in-state costs, which is why this got kicked out. They're like, that's not fair. Not fair to punish people that are legally here with a different rate. It's either A, they get in-state tuition also, or B, you stop giving tuition to illegals for that? How about you can charge them out of state if you want? Good job, Texas. And I assume it's going to go more to an out-of-state kind of concept. There are travel restrictions that are happening. I think this is more like terrorist-y kind of type stuff, but...
the recent terror attack.
Yeah, so obviously that helps. But yes, like terrorist-y kind of stuff. But Trump is making a bold move here. People obviously talking about it, and it's a number of countries. I think it was 20-something or whatever, but or 7... What was the number? It's in there. Hang on. Let's go small. Let's try to go small. Okay, I guess we can't go small. There we go. I'm not a very bright man. Jesus Lord, really? What the shit?
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Obviously, Elon Musk doesn't, but, well, or at least so it seems. U.S. warns Britain and France not to recognize the Palestinian state. They were maybe going to try to do that. Now, it's funny, all the rumors that were floating around, especially even on RT News, RT News, whatever, Russian site. They were definitely pushing that one hard, too, by the way. That didn't seem to happen. And now the U.S. is basically telling Britain and France, you all better not do this Palestinian state thing. And I'm sure Trump was kind of like, look, there's a lot of things we can pull back on if you go and do that. You're going to destabilize situations, and you're going to make our lives a big, giant pain in the ass. We will be out of protecting you for sure. And talk about being a pain in your ass. As you guys are over there poking the friggin' Putin bear. Huh? You should be poking Buttigieg instead, because he likes it. He likes getting poked, they say. Allegedly. Starmer apparently said back in February that there must be a U.S. backstop and that the U.S. security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again. See, it's funny how the deep state looks at it. Deep state looks at it's like, we must with force and violence hold you to your peace. When in reality, it's like, look, nobody should want to fight. Everybody should be done fighting. And if we stop giving weapons to the enemy of each other, whoever that is, then weapons won't cross. And now, here's the thing. I believe 100% Putin has shown far more restraint than Zelensky. Literally, Zelensky shot errant missiles into other countries, Poland, for example, early on, and then tried to blame Russia. They tried to literally shoot drones at the Zaporozhye nuclear plant, which would have caused huge problems. They even hit up Chernobyl again. These dudes they want to escalate, and then they went ahead and attacked a bunch of planes. Now, one thing we're hearing, and I don't know if this is the story yet. We'll get there in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Getting out in front of my skis. I'm starting to get wobbly. Kremlin says no negotiations with terrorists they're not going to talk about peace right now. They're going to retaliate, which tripped me out because this came out after the attack they did where they already hit 124 sites or 140 some sites or damn. So this will be interesting. And again, war is a funny thing. It's a tick for tack. You're allowed to do that. There's a legal thing. You're not allowed to kill leaders. You're not allowed to do certain things. It's just how it is, right? Like we've got rules. It's kind of weird. There's rules and how we can kill people. We're very civilized when we come to being uncivilized, oddly. What Russia's telling us is Ukraine failed to destroy Russian airplanes. They didn't destroy, they damaged a bunch. Whatever. They think they can fix them. That's what they're saying. Again, the damage, they were smoking, they were on fire, and yeah, probably not cool, but I mean, Russia does make shit that's reasonably rugged, right? Not uncommon. They make their aircraft kind of like our A-10 or even our F-15. Hell, there's an F-15, I think it was Israel's, but it landed missing a wing. Literally. One of its wings was just gone. And it still landed. That's, takes a lick and keeps on ticking. That's what I'm saying. Ukraine out of budget cash. They're done. They're broke. They say they're out by about $10 to $12 billion. Hey, California. It's weird. You're out like $10 to $20 billion too. Huh. That's strange. It's like the magic number right now. 10 to 12 billion. I think California was, I want to say it was 10 to 20 because there was a range and it depended on some stuff, but I feel like 12 maybe got in play as well. Whatever the case is. They almost broke, yo. Israeli government officials are now accusing Netanyahu of secretly sending weapons to crime families in Gaza. I don't know if this is true, but it's an interesting little thing that's being accused. The source of the message is being endorsed and amplified by President Trump's preferred Israeli journalist, Barak Ravid. So there seems to be a weird pattern of behavior. I think we've seen it before. The attack, I think, of October, was it 13th, 7th? What day was it? I apologize. I keep forgetting the date. I know I'm not supposed to ever forget. Well, I'm not Jewish, so whatever. The October thing, the horrible thing that happened. A lot of question about whether or not they knew about it. Now, that's supposed to be super taboo to say that, to even question the narrative, which I, of course, do. And that's like a guarantee. I'm going to question the narrative. The narrative might be right. It's not always wrong. Not always. Most of the time it is, but not always. The other thing I was wondering about Israel. This is a crazy thought. And this is for like the 14 of you out there, 17 of you, whatever. I don't know, whatever number you pick on a crazy number. You said that number. 69 of you. For those of you that are aware of the concept of the Elohim, part of me is wondering, are they just trying to get Israel's Elohim, Yahweh, to show himself? And then made me kind of wonder about the Elohim of the possibility anyway, of the Elohim of like Allah or Jehovah or even Smith and what he found to be true. They all seem to be very regionalized, which is what the Elohim supposedly were about. The individuals, if you kind of dig into it a little. So it's kind of a funny little, I don't know. I was wondering that. I was like, I wonder if they're just trying to draw out Yahweh right now. And again, he's specifically the God of Israel. Specifically. That's why Israel's his chosen people. He's the Elohim of that area. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And again, whether it translates outside of Yahweh or not, that's a separate conversation. But initially it was Yahweh, and it was before the Hebrew vowels even. It was just YHWH. No vowels. The word is most likely comes from, probably Aramaic, but even likely it could be further than that. And many suggest that they had heard it pronounced, and that was their best rendition of how to spell the pronunciation, YHWH. And again, prior to the vowels, that puts it way back, like almost 1,000 years further back, I want to say, or hundreds of years further back than when they added vowels. So there's a lot of strange stuff. Anyways, whatever. Revelations of Epstein investment tied to Peter Thiel. A lot of people are thinking this guy's directly tied in, obviously investments, and of course, a lot of Epstein's money that many people are trying to get their hands on, which I think a lot of this is about more than anything, is in this dude's Valar Ventures investment firm. So Peter Thiel, I mean, it made Epstein money, but there's about $170 million they're suggesting. Not too shabby for an individual. Not a bad day's work, right? Not too bad shaking a stick and getting $170 million for doing it. Want to remind you guys of Healthy Home. I love these guys. It's just a great product. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem Active, Stem Gel. That's just the way to enhance your stem cells. They're about healing, balance. If you're having problems with the hot flashes and stuff, this is actually a lotion. It's transdermal. You literally rub it on your wrist. Rub your wrists together, bada bing, bada boom. Your body is helping you feel better. It's powered by plant-based. It's not actually hormone replacement or hormone inserting. It's all completely about getting your body to process this change. Your body knows how to do this. It's just going to help it along. So this balance really, really does exactly that. Ladies are talking about being able to sleep better and everything else. Just incredible experiences. Collagen peptides, one of the best ways to get collagen. If you've got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, all this nonsense, this is the way to go. In fact, this is something I'm actually noticing something a little bit. My body it's just been a trip lately. This past year has been kind of a trip for me. So I'm seeing a lot of things that were happening, and I haven't exactly been really, really good to myself, but I'm paying attention to what's going on. So healthy thoughts, healthy processes, and I'm actually starting to see like certain things looking better. And it's kind of interesting, especially my skin, like my complexion and stuff. Like I got little spots, right? I'm a pasty, nasty white guy. Like the sun is friggin' scared of me. Trust me. If I take my shirt off outside, the sun's like, oh, clouds. Instantly. Prime's another good one too. You want to do this? This one opens up your veins, vessels. It's a nitric oxide booster. It just gives you energy. It's freaking awesome. And stem cells for your pets. It's actually significantly less expensive than the stem cell for people, and is a great way if your pet's going through surgery or got some sort of injury or have got some issues. This helps it heal. Again, stem cells can become any cell in the body. That's what's so cool about them. You're not putting stem cells into them. That's kind of gross. This is actually allowing your body to create more stem cells. That's what's so great about Healthy Home. It's your body doing the work, not something doing it for you. And I hate that. I dislike that very much. Strongly dislike it. I almost loathe it, but not quite. So again, it's one thing to keep in mind, right? Healthy choices, healthy thinking. I want to be healthier. These are the kinds of products you want to think about. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And it looks like I've got a chance of maybe getting this video up early enough so Maggie can actually finish it before I start my live show. I think it's not quite going to work out. Maybe it will. I think she watches on BitChute. I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll see if we can get it up for you, Maggie. I'm trying. I got hour and 25 right now to see if I can do it. But I love you guys. We're going to continue to fight the fight. There's no way I'm going anywhere other than bugging you every day. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here to just be like, bah, 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 and you're like, wah, 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 wah. Exactly. That's right where I'm at. Where we go one, we freaking go all, baby. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.